The house stood nestled amongst emerald rice paddies, bathed in the golden glow of the Thai sun. It was a picturesque scene, one that seemed to be plucked straight out of a dream. The golden hues of the setting sun cast long shadows across the fields, creating a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow. The air was thick with the scent of earth and growing rice, a scent that spoke of life and sustenance. It was a haven, a sanctuary built on love and laughter. The wooden beams of the house creaked with stories of joy and sorrow, of celebrations and quiet moments of reflection. The porch, with its inviting chairs and lush greenery, was a place where time seemed to slow down, where worries melted away with the gentle breeze. Aunt Suai and Uncle Jet had poured their hearts into its creation. They had spent countless hours working side by side, their hands calloused from labor but their spirits unbroken. Each nail they hammered, each brushstroke of paint, was a testament to their unwavering dedication and love for each other and their home. Every brick, every beam, resonated with their hopes and dreams. The house was more than just a structure. It was a living, breathing embodiment of their aspirations. The walls held the echoes of their laughter, the floors bore the marks of their footsteps, and the roof sheltered their dreams from the harshness of the world outside. The scent of jasmine from the garden wafted through the open windows. It was a fragrance that brought with it memories of warm summer nights and the promise of new beginnings. The garden, tended with care and love, was a riot of colors and scents, a testament to Aunt Suai's green thumb and her love for nature. It carried with it the promise of a bright future. The sunlight streaming through the windows filled the rooms with warmth and light, casting a golden glow on the walls. The gentle breeze that blew through the open windows brought with it the sounds of the outside world, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, the distant laughter of children playing. The air hummed with life. The garden was a haven for all manner of creatures, from the tiniest insects to the most colorful butterflies. Birds flitted from tree to tree, their songs filling the air with a symphony of nature. It was a place where life thrived, where every living thing found a place to belong. Children's laughter echoed from within the walls. The house was always filled with the sounds of joy and play, of children running through the halls and playing games in the living room. Their laughter was a constant reminder of the happiness that filled the home, a sound that brought a smile to Aunt Suai's face every time she heard it. Neighbors gathered on lazy afternoons, sharing stories and sipping sweet Thai iced tea. The porch was a gathering place, a spot where friends and family came together to share their lives and their stories. The sweet, refreshing taste of Thai iced tea was a staple at these gatherings, a drink that brought people together and made the moments even more special. Aunt Suai, her smile as warm as the tropical sun, welcomed everyone with open arms. She was the heart and soul of the home, a woman whose kindness and generosity knew no bounds. Her smile could light up a room, and her warm, welcoming nature made everyone feel at home. This was her kingdom, her home. She took great pride in everything she had built, in the life she had created for herself and her family. The house was a reflection of her spirit, a place where love and happiness reigned supreme. But like all good things, change was inevitable. The passage of time brought with it new challenges and new realities. The once vibrant and bustling home began to show signs of wear and tear, the effects of time and the elements taking their toll. A shadow began to creep across Aunt Suai's haven, slowly at first, then all at once. It was a subtle change at first, a feeling of unease that grew with each passing day. The once bright and cheerful home began to feel darker, the shadows lengthening and the light fading. It started with hushed whispers and concerned glances. The neighbors, once so full of life and laughter, began to speak in hushed tones, their faces etched with worry. There was a sense of foreboding in the air, a feeling that something was not quite right. Then came the heavy silence, thick with unspoken worry. The once lively home was now filled with a heavy, oppressive silence. The laughter and joy that had once echoed through the halls were replaced by a sense of dread, a feeling that something terrible was about to happen. The laughter faded, replaced by a chilling premonition that something was terribly wrong. The once warm and welcoming home now felt cold and uninviting, the sense of foreboding growing stronger with each passing day. It was as if the very walls of the house were whispering of the impending doom, a chilling reminder that nothing lasts forever. Aunt Suai and Uncle Jet were a love story for the ages. Everyone said so. They met in their early 20s, a chance encounter at a local festival that blossomed into a whirlwind romance. Their love was the kind that inspired songs and poems, the kind that made people believe in soulmates. They were inseparable, always seen hand in hand, their laughter echoing through the village streets. Their love was as bright and vibrant as the marigolds that adorned their garden. Every morning they would tend to the flowers together, their hands brushing against each other as they worked. The marigolds became a symbol of their love, blooming brilliantly under their care. Neighbors would often stop by just to admire the garden, a testament to the couple's dedication and affection. They were two halves of a whole, their happiness intertwined like the vines that crawled along the trellis outside their bedroom window. The vines, much like their love, grew stronger with each passing day, wrapping around the wooden beams and creating a beautiful, natural tapestry. Their home was filled with warmth and laughter, a sanctuary from the outside world. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Dark clouds began to gather on the horizon, threatening to overshadow their happiness. It started with small arguments, insignificant at first, but gradually growing in intensity. The once harmonious household began to experience the first tremors of discord. A dark cloud settled over their marriage, the inability to have children. This unfulfilled dream became a source of constant pain and frustration. They tried everything from medical treatments to traditional remedies, but nothing seemed to work. The disappointment was palpable, creating a rift between them that grew wider with each failed attempt. The whispers grew louder, laced with pity and thinly veiled judgment. The village, once a source of support, became a place of scrutiny. People would talk behind their backs, their words cutting deeper than any knife. The couple felt the weight of these whispers, each one a reminder of their perceived failure. The joy that once radiated from Aunt Suai dimmed, replaced by a deep sadness that settled in her eyes. She would spend hours staring out of the window, lost in thought, her once vibrant spirit now a shadow of its former self. The laughter that once filled their home was replaced by a heavy silence, a constant reminder of their unfulfilled dreams. Years passed, each one etching lines of worry deeper into their faces. The weight of their sorrow seemed to age them prematurely, their youthful exuberance replaced by a weary resignation. They continued to go through the motions of daily life, but the spark that once defined their relationship was now a distant memory. The love remained, but it was now a flickering candle in the encroaching darkness. It was a fragile thing, easily extinguished by the slightest breeze. They clung to it desperately, hoping that it would be enough to see them through the darkest of times. But the shadows continued to grow, threatening to snuff out the light completely. Desperation began to twist Uncle Jet, turning his love into an obsessive need for control. He became increasingly irritable, lashing out at the smallest provocation. His frustration was palpable, a constant undercurrent that tainted every interaction. The man who once brought so much joy into Aunt Suai's life was now a source of fear and anxiety. He became withdrawn, haunted by the empty cradle in the corner of their room. It was a constant reminder of their unfulfilled dreams, a symbol of their greatest sorrow. He would spend hours sitting by the cradle, lost in thought, his mind consumed by what could have been. The emptiness of the cradle mirrored the emptiness in his heart. The haven they had built began to crumble, the foundation of their love slowly cracking under the weight of their despair. The house, once a symbol of their love and commitment, now stood as a testament to their suffering. The walls that had witnessed so much joy and laughter were now silent, bearing the scars of their unspoken pain. The love that had once been their greatest strength was now their greatest burden, a constant reminder of what they had lost. Then, one humid monsoon night, tragedy struck. A deafening gunshot ripped through the stillness, echoing across the rice paddies. Neighbors, their hearts pounding in unison with the receding thunder, rushed towards the sound. They found Uncle Jet lying lifeless on the bedroom floor, a pistol clutched in his hand, and Aunt Suai, she was gone, vanished. Some whispered that she had run away, unable to bear the thought of life without her beloved. Others, their voices hushed in fear, spoke of a different fate. They said Uncle Jet, driven mad by grief and despair, had taken his love with him. The house, once a beacon of joy, fell silent. The scent of jasmine was overtaken by the metallic tang of blood and the chilling specter of death. The haven had become a tomb, forever marked by the echoes of despair. Years later, I found myself drawn to the house. It was as if an invisible thread pulled me back to the place that had been the subject of so many ghost stories and whispered legends. The house stood at the edge of the village, a silent sentinel to the past, its windows like dark, unblinking eyes watching my every move. It stood desolate, shrouded in an eerie silence that sent shivers down my spine. The street leading to it was equally deserted, cloaked in a thick fog that seemed to swallow all sound. Every step I took echoed in the stillness, amplifying the sense of isolation and foreboding. The once vibrant paint peeled, revealing the weathered wood beneath. Each flake of paint that fell seemed to whisper secrets of the past, tales of joy and sorrow that the house had witnessed over the decades. The decay was a testament to the passage of time and the neglect that had befallen this once proud home. The garden, once a riot of color, was now choked with weeds. The flowers that had once bloomed so brightly were now replaced by thorny brambles and dead plants. It was as if the very life had been sucked out of the place, leaving behind a barren wasteland that mirrored the house's desolation. I had heard the whispers, the tales told in hushed tones by the village elders. They spoke of the house with a mixture of fear and reverence, their voices dropping to a whisper whenever its name was mentioned. The stories were always the same: strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and the ever-present figure of a woman in white. They spoke of strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and fleeting glimpses of a woman in white. She was said to wander the halls at night, her mournful cries echoing through the empty rooms. Some claimed to have seen her standing at the window, her eyes filled with a sorrow that seemed to reach out and touch their very souls. But I dismissed them as mere superstition, the ramblings of a community still haunted by the past. I was a skeptic, a man of reason, and I refused to believe in ghosts and spirits. To me, the stories were just that, stories born out of fear and imagination. That is, until I spent a night within its walls. The moment I stepped inside, I felt a chill that seemed to seep into my very bones. The air was thick with the scent of decay and something else, something intangible that I couldn't quite place. It was as if the house itself was alive, watching and waiting. The air hung heavy with the weight of unseen eyes. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind seemed amplified in the oppressive silence. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on shapes that seemed almost human. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone, that something or someone was watching me from the darkness. I lay awake, listening to the wind whistling through the cracks in the walls. The sound was eerie, like a mournful wail that seemed to come from the very heart of the house. I tried to convince myself that it was just the wind, but deep down I knew there was something more to it. And then I heard it. A muffled bang, like a gunshot, echoing from the floor above. My blood ran cold. I sat up, straining to hear any other sounds, but the house had fallen silent once more. The noise had been so sudden, so unexpected, that it left me paralyzed with fear. I knew then that the whispers were true. The stories I had dismissed as mere superstition were rooted in a reality that I could no longer deny. The house was haunted, not just by the ghosts of the past, but by the memories and emotions that had been imprinted on its very walls. Aunt Suai's haven was no more. The place that had once been a sanctuary of love and laughter was now a prison, haunted by the ghosts of a love gone terribly wrong. The walls that had once echoed with joy now reverberated with sorrow and regret. It was a prison, haunted by the ghosts of a love gone terribly wrong. The house stood as a testament to the power of love and the devastation of loss, a reminder that some wounds never truly heal. As I left the house that night, I knew that I would never forget the whispers in the night, the stories that had come to life before my very eyes.